Hello here and welcome to the fifth of my build videos on my new Tamiya Asterion on the XV01T chassis. Today we'll be looking at steps 24 to 26, which are making up the shocks and installing them. So we'll get cracking. First job is to put the O-rings in. So I'm getting my green slime, giving them a good squirt. And we can pop this one in, poke it down. Second one. And then take my washer and we're going to pop that in there as well. And screw it down slightly. The washer was a tip from Poor Man RC, cheers Carmine. I've got to be honest though, I have tried that in the past. I can't remember on what shocks, but when I tried it last time, it just made the piston rod so stiff that it hardly worked. Now we come to put the E-clips on, and I'm going to try not to tempt fate, but there we go. Yep, that's all right. Put the piston rod on. Ooh. And then the other E-clip over the top. And there we go. Well, that was the first. Every other one I've done on the other three shocks all went without a hitch, so I was expecting those to ping off, but hey, first time in front of the camera. Then we just shoved the piston rod through. We've got a bit of green slime. Just wipe that off, and then we can pull that down and tighten that up a bit, and then we can put the end on, and these are threaded so they just screw on very easily, and there we have 4 piston bodies made up. Step 25 is filling the dampers up with oil, and I'm going to show you a couple of ways to do this. The first one being the way it shows you in the guide, and that's to pull the piston all the way down to the bottom and then fill it up with the hard oil, which is 900 weight according to the chart. And once we filled it up, we can, if it'll focus, will it focus? Just about. You then slowly raise the piston and then pull it back down, and do that a few times to try and get any air bubbles out from below the piston. And as I think you can see there, you can see all those air bubbles. And once you're happy that you've got all the air out, you then have to put it to one side and leave it until all those air bubbles dissipate. And I'm now going to try and show you. However, I think last time I did it this way I still got air bubbles, so we'll just have to see. And that is, if you see here, if it focuses again, will it focus? Yep. I've pulled the piston rod nearly all the way out. You can still just see it going through the hole there, but it's high enough to get the tip, it says, of my oil bottle in, and then it's just a case of squeezing it in again. And I think in a second I'll have to come off camera just so I don't overfill it. Now can't see. Oh, there we go. I think I may have done that a bit much. But then we simply push the piston in and pull it down slowly. Oops. And hopefully you can see there, little to no bubbles. So we'll pop them just to let all the oil dissipate before we continue on. Okay, once all the air bubbles have dissipated, we can just top this level up a bit, because I think it's a bit low on this one. And you want it high enough so that when you put on your DB9 oil seal green, it should just push a bit of the oil out. In fact, still need a bit more in that one. There we go. Go. And that's just pushed a tiny bit out. Then we can take the cap, which is W2, screw it on, and then what I tend to do is take the O-ring seal cover and the top cap and tighten them both together against each other. And then to wipe down, and then we've got one damper, and it does spring back out a bit, and I'm not too sure whether that's right or wrong, but what I have seen from watching many a car build video or customization video is that real life dampers do that on full size cars, from what I've seen. But if you are one of these ones that prefers not to have a rebound, let's take this one should be ready now. Yeah, what I've found is if you raise the piston up, and I can't really show you because I'll tip out all the oil, to nearly the top, and then put the top cap on. And again, tighten them against each other. And give them a wipe. Then you don't get as much rebound. So I'll just finish the last one once the air's gone from that one, and we can get on to step 26. Step 26 is installing the springs and then installing the dampers onto the chassis. And it's just a case of grabbing a damper, give it a last check, and the spring, and because I've already done these, I can put that on. Get rid of that. And then put the spring on. And as you can see, there's still a big gap between the bottom of the spring and the ball connector. So you don't need to pull the spring back up really, and it doesn't fit in very securely, so that's a concern. I mean, look at that gap. I don't understand what Tamiya are doing here. So, you know, but then, okay, so we've done that, and then it should just simply clip on to the ball joints. Top one there, and then the bottom one here, and I do need to push it up a bit. And there we go. And I don't know, yeah. So but that's, to me, it's just too loose. I'm going to lose this bottom connector. And I don't know. Let's just try. That's one. And it's still too loose, so I think, to be honest, I need all three. So that's the one side, and that's the other. I think I'm going to leave it like that. I mean, that feels really soft, and that feels a bit harder, quite a lot harder, to be honest. But I'm not likely to lose the retainer, so I think we'll do that with all of them, because the front ones are just supposed to have the V6 and the V4 on. So yeah, and let's just see if you can see this one that I've already installed. Actually, that's not as bad. So obviously there's not as much up and down movement. So I'm not sure if I've got some spares. I might put another really thin one on just to stop that bit of movement there. So I think I'll get on and cut the rest of those out and hopefully see what we come up with. Okay, so with that we can I think end this build video with all the 4 shocks installed and functioning just about. As I say, I'm not entirely happy with this front end. I do think those retainers aren't being held in quite enough. I may have to have a look at see if I can find some way of actually wedging them in, but with that I think I'll end this video. I hope you enjoyed watching and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers, bye.